Hello! Welcome back to Craftoween. We're ready to start day 9, and this video will include days 9, 10, and 11. If you've missed the previous ones, I will have the playlist for this year linked in the space down below. You can check out the other videos. I am doing them in clumps this year. We have a video for day 1, then 2, 3, and 4, then 5, 6, 7, and 8. So yeah, that's a little bit different than last year. We did daily videos, but for the sake of my mental health, we're doing it this way this year. We're gonna go ahead and light the candle. I have been using this 300 Foxway candle that has jasmine and orange blossom and honey and musk scents, and you can see that it's burned up a fair amount, but it's so lovely to have going while I'm crafting that it's become a tradition for this year. So candle is now lit. Also, in case you've been missing the series, we're working in this journal here. It's got some different papers, some digital, some other things, and we've been following 3 prompts per day. So let's go ahead and find our prompts for today, day number 9, and we'll go to the advent calendar. All right, let's start with our purple Halloween word, darkness. Orange junk journaling word, wax seal. And green supplies, crayon or colored pencil. Darkness, wax seal, crayon, or colored pencil. Oh. Okay, this is really kind of vague actually. Okay. I have grabbed my distressed crayons. I have this neutral set and then some kind of muted colors here. I have some black wax to make a wax seal and this stamp that has a feather on it. I've got a lighter to light the wax. And then in terms of darkness, something caught my eye. I was going to my office because that's where I keep my wax seal stuff. And as I passed the craft room on the way to the office, I saw this piece of fabric. It's like a scarf or something that I thrifted. And it made me think of darkness, like the night sky with the stars and stuff in it. And I thought maybe it could be used to overlay on top of a page or something. I don't know. We might use it in this prompt, we might not. But I thought, let's start with making this wax seal, and we can make it on wax paper, and then we can glue it down wherever we want it. I have a pretty good supply of these wax sticks because around Mother's Day I do a thing with my students where they write a card to their moms or another significant person in their lives that they want to thank, and then we seal it. And they write with glass dip pens. They absolutely love that part. And then we seal it with wax. And they always want to be the one to light the fire, and I always have to tell them no. The principal has given us permission to do this on the provision that only adults will handle the fire and wax stuff. So I'm just creating a puddle here. I try to make mine around the size of a quarter, and this wants to keep blowing out. Hang on. So as I was saying, I like to make my puddle about the size of a quarter, but sometimes you can do it with smaller size puddles. It just depends on what you fancy. If you prefer that your wax for sure does not, like, what am I saying? If you'd prefer that it for sure covers everything here, then you want to err on the side of making your puddle bigger. Okay, this is probably plenty because it's quite thick in the middle. So we're going to press down with our seal. We just have to hold for a second and then we can lift up. Ta-da! That will need a minute or 2 to completely dry in the thick parts around the edges, but we did get the entire feather there. Did I call it a feather when I showed you the seal, or did I call it a leaf? I don't know. It's a feather. That extra little bit, it just peels right up. So we'll let that fully harden before we put it onto the journal page. we still need to form some kind of idea because right now I have no focal point, no real direction. I don't know. All right, we have a plan. I have this page here with this like witch doctor kind of guy, and I had said before that I probably was going to cover him up at some point, and I think today's the day. I am going to use this paper here as a background because I have found inspiration in this book here. So this is actually one of the backgrounds that comes right out of that book, and the color palette here that we're looking at is absolutely gorgeous. We've got some kind of teals and gray greens and oranges and stuff. So we're going to be able to use ice spruce again, which is a color we've used in a few times in this series. We're going to ink around this and glue it down as a background, and then I'll show you the other pieces we're going to be using from that book and what my idea is to create darkness and use the crayons and so on. You can see I've left this here, and that's because we're going to ink around some more items, and so then I thought I'd do like a smushing technique to pick up all the color once we've done all of those things. All right, I have two other items that I'm going to be pulling out. Our main item is going to be this little cabin here with the window, or should we do the one with the front door down here? That one's got a pumpkin on it. Let's do that one. So we're going to do that and this cute little girl here. Or this one. Decisions. No. Let's go with my first choice. All right, so I was gonna try to do some ink smooshing on this old book page, and it doesn't even look like it picked up any color. So much for that idea. But we did cut these out and ink around them. I was not even gonna attempt to try to fussy cut around all these little flowers and blossoms. No, that would not happen. So let's bring back the journal. So I thought, okay, let's add this, the house, and then I kind of wonder if I can make this little girl more dimensional. Should have thought of that before. That's gonna be trickier now, but that is okay. Let's do this. Let's glue down the house because I like the spot that I have for that. I like how the ice spruce color, not only is it like a nice pretty color and it's good for inking around and stuff, but it does add a little bit of gloominess around here, which adds to our, darkness prompt. For our little girl, in order to make her more dimensional, I need to put her on something thicker. which is why I was saying I really should have thought of that sooner, because it would be easier to have mounted her on something thicker and then cut around. So is that for sure what I want to do, or do I want to try something else? What if we take Ice Spruce Distress Crayon? Luckily that I have this color. I don't know how I got that lucky. And what if we use this stencil to kind of make some paving stones in front of the house? Can I get this in a better spot for you to see? If I can move some of this stuff up here, we can do that. So back to our little girl. I don't know. I kind of feel like she's fine. I know that if I mount it and then cut it again, it's going to look terrible, just with the fussy cutting and stuff being harder. So we're just going to glue her down. So I'm imagining she lives in this little cottage and she is off on an adventure. I'd like to find a sentiment about darkness, and then I think we're going to try to use that fabric to do an overlay. So this is like still light outside, maybe towards the evening or twilight hours, and then darkness falls. But I think I'd like a darkness kind of sentiment. So I'm going to grab my Tim Holtz Halloween snippet sentiment pack thingy, that thing, and I'll be right back. All right, so I've got this, and I found one that I like. It just says always dark again. And then of course we have our wax seal that we need to add. So I kind of feel like these two pieces could work together. Do we want to have it down here? And this can kind of sit on that little pathway we made. Or do we want to do it maybe up here? I wouldn't mind the sentiment being up there, but I don't like this being up there. Let's do this. Okay, so I'm going to put this down. Oh, and it doesn't want to stick, so we're going to get some glue on it. And then for the wax seal, a little bit of the wax paper did stick to the bottom. That doesn't really matter because it won't show when you glue it down. So I'm just going to glue really well all over it and place it in the spot I want. And I'm going to get a clamp to hold it there until the glue really takes hold. So while that glue is working its magic, we can be working on creating the darkness. All right, so I'm looking at where these little silver bits begin for width-wise, and it's gonna go to right here. Okay, I have torn this fabric to the correct width. So I actually want to double check that before I tell you it's correct. So I double checked that, and then I also checked the length, and we can actually tear some off of the bottom of here. All right, in the meantime, this is stuck down now, so all we have to do is create our little cover of darkness, and we'll just glue it at the top so that it can flip over. Alright, it might not be as cool as I had imagined it in my head, but I like it anyway. We experimented, we tried something. We have a night sky, we have a cute autumn scene here. I think we fulfilled our prompt. So that's gonna be all for day 9. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, this video will also include days 10 and 11, so they'll be following in just a moment, and keep enjoying and add comments in the space below to let me know what you think. Welcome back. It is day 10. We shall light our candle and get going. All right, so we have done 9 days of Craftoween so far. I am having loads of fun. Maybe not everything that I have made has been perfect, but again, I always say we strive for imperfection. So we're gonna go get the prompts for today and see what we've got to create. Okay, here we go. We'll start as usual with our purple Halloween word. It says boo. Okay. Orange junk journal word, trim. And green supply or tool, lace. How did that work out that lace and trim were in the same one? Crazy. If you have any doubt about whether I stacked the deck with the prompts or anything, rest assured I absolutely did not. When I went to put the prompts into the advent calendar, something about that repeated motion of folding a paper and stuff and putting into that pocket with my left hand, which is my non-dominant hand, was really physically painful. It hurt my shoulder a lot, so I was trying to get through it as quickly as possible. Was not paying attention to what papers went where. All right, so we'll set these aside for a moment and see what we can find. Lace, trim, and boo. All right, I have found my ghosty stamps. These are from Stampers Anonymous and Tim Holtz. The collection is Spooky Spirit CMS 492. And it has ghosts as well as little sentiments here. So one of them is boo to you, and then we have boo and stuff, and hey boo, and boo sheet. I don't think we have to necessarily use a sentiment that says boo because we have ghosts, but they're there if we decide we want it. Then for lace and trim, I have a bunch of options. So I have purple, because purple is a Halloween color. And it's got this ribbon running through it and these little florals. It's gorgeous. I have a couple of different black pieces. So I've got this lace here that's got these big flowers. I have this piece. I have this that you have seen in Craftoween before if you watched previous years. I think I used this last year. But it is trim with stars and moons dangling. And then for orange, I also have this peachy colored lace. I have many, many other pieces of lace. So if we decide we don't like any of those, we can go back to the stash. What I'd like to do is pick a page in the journal and then start building ideas from there. Aw, every time I open this, I see that fox and he's so cute. Let's do something else. Oh, I just had an idea. What if this girl is our Lydia Dietz from Beetlejuice, and we create the two people dressed up in sheets when they're trying to scare them away, and they're like, "Ooh, we're ghosts." Yes, let's do it. I haven't watched Beetlejuice yet this spooky season. I need to. Maybe I'll watch it today while I work. I don't know. I was going to watch Misery, which is an adaptation of the Stephen King novel, but I've watched that so many times. While I'm thinking about this, I'm going to click on my Amazon Prime and find my little library. There's Beetlejuice. Okay, so I'll play the movie at times when you don't need to hear me and that kind of thing, and hopefully it won't take me the whole movie to craft something for this. Oh goodness. Okay, so I think we should start by deciding what trim we want to use, because that will help us determine where our ghosts are going to be placed. For example, if I have that hanging trim that's going to go across the top here, then my ghosts are going to have to be down here. What do we want to do? Let's just go through the pile. So with this peachy stuff, I think I would put it on an outside edge like this. I'm not feeling it. Are you? Could put a piece of it right here, I suppose. That's a maybe. Next we have this thin black that could go actually down this side maybe, or it can run across the top or bottom. I actually kind of like the idea of the top and bottom, or maybe one or the other, bottom, top. Let's grab the other end and see if we can visualize both. I don't know. At the top, it's getting into her hair, though. I don't want to cut her off. Maybe we'll just put this on the bottom. I don't think I even need to check the other trims. This is what I want to do. We have made a decision. Yes. All right, so first thing, we're going to cut a piece to the right length. I think I want to cut 2 pieces just to navigate the little area between the pages with the crease and stuff. We don't want to create too much bulk in there or the pages won't close. Okay, so that's going to sit just slightly off of the crease. And again, that will help with the pages and such. Okay. All right, I decided to go for it and lay down a piece of this peachy stuff as well, and I thought maybe a glue stick would hold it, but I should have known better. So we had to get out the art glitter glue, and that's drying a little bit. But I really, really like how this trim looks at the bottom of the page. That's so cute. So while this is drying, we can work on stamping out ghosts, and we need to decide which ghost stamps we want to use and what we want to stamp them on. So the paper that they're going to be on is coffee dyed paper. So we need something that'll be different than that. Do we want to go white ghosts or do we want to make them colorful? I think white would be better. And I have this like massive stash of index cards. So we'll just use the non-lined side to stamp some ghosts. I really like these two because it feels like they're moving around, they're creating some action, and that's what Barbara and what's his name are doing in the movie. All right, we've got our little ghosties. Now, in the movie, when they put the sheets on, they aren't plain white sheets. They're like fancy sheets that the Dietzes had brought with them. And one of them looked kind of like old wallpaper and stuff, and the other one was some kind of pattern, I don't remember. But I thought we would take maybe a couple different stencils and just go over the ghosties with the stencil. And I'm just going really, really lightly with my ice spruce brush here. Look how cute. Is it gonna show up? Okay, there we go. I think you can see it now. Okay, so that'll be Barbara. And then for Adam, let's just do this plaid one. I don't remember for sure which sheets they used in the movie, but it's a little bit more masculine, and he was wearing plaid a lot, so sure, this will be Adam. Oh no, this ghosty moved. Hold still, silly ghost. That's so cute. All right, I'm just gonna take a second and go around the edges of both ghosts. Some of you might be saying, oh my gosh, you've used ice spruce a lot in this series so far. Yes, I have. With things being as random as they are with the prompts and stuff, using similar colors help improve the consistency and the cohesiveness of the journal. So I have used ice spruce a lot. I did use carved pumpkin one day, and I plan on using that some more when possible. So we can have our little ghosties. And then I think we need to add something here. And when they're doing the "we're ghosts, ooh," then Adam also says, "Aren't you scared of us?" or "Aren't you scared?" And this face is the perfect response for Lydia. What she actually says is, "I'm not scared of sheets, but still, I mean, yes." So how do we want to do this? I don't know if I want to put that whole thing like "we're ghosts, ooh, aren't you scared?" Maybe we'll just put "aren't you scared?" Maybe I want to use my punches for this. Okay, let's do this, because I'm pretty confident that this is where I want my ghosts to be. So let's go ahead and glue them down, and then we'll work on our sentiment. I really love these punches, and I love the look of things when we punch things out of them. It doesn't have a question mark or any other punctuation, but I think we can work our way around that somehow. So we need a strip of paper to punch the letters out of, and I like the idea of continuing to use the ice spruce, so let's just take another index card. I am using up my stash today, I'll tell you what. These two strips should be plenty to punch out the words that we need. The fiddly part is picking out all the letters and putting them in the right order. And then, and then you have to put them in every other letter, because otherwise the words are, like, the letters are too far apart. So it's better that I kept two pieces of paper just in case I mess up, because that does happen sometimes. So we're doing "aren't you scared?" Okay, starting with A. I punched out the words. I tried to do a little question mark with my X-Acto knife, and it did not happen. So we are going to pretend like there's one there. Unless I can find like a sticker or something, or a stamp with a question mark, which actually I might have in my art journal of stamps. Yeah, good thought, me. So we are going to glue these words down, and then I'll go look and see if I can find a question mark. All right, not ideal because it's stamped instead of punched out, and it's too big. You know what? We're going with it because that's the stamp that I could find. With this little set, there is an apostrophe we could use for some quotation marks, but I don't think I want to. I would like to have another stamp over here just to have a stamp. For balance, maybe I'll take this little asterisk and stamp it a few times. All right, not perfect. I would have preferred this one to be a little bit more that way, but we have this crease to contend with. But now we have more stamps and there's not just one like weird random stamp here. So we have Barbara and Adam saying, "Aren't you scared?" And Lydia's like, "No, girl." Yay. Subtle nod to Beetlejuice without being overtly Beetlejuice. I like it. At some point we can make something to go in this little pocket here, which would be fun. This little envelope thing came from Mary's. Thank you again, Mary. Yeah, and that will be it for this one. Yay. So be sure to come back for day 11. We'll see you soon. Our candle is slowly dwindling. Can you see that? Welcome to day 11 of Craftoween. All right, without any further ado, let's go get our prompts out for day 11. Here they are. Here is our purple Halloween word, magic. Orange junk journaling word, belly band. And our green tool or supply, paper punches. Okay, magic, belly band, paper punches. Okay, we have a few things here to work with. I've got this witch that could be our magical element, maybe. I've got quite a few punches here. I'm not sure which ones I'll end up using. I have a corner rounder, some different circles. This is a hole reinforcer, a little moon, a star, a swirly. And then this punch does this kind of lacy thing here. And then I have this piece for the base of our belly band. And I just had kind of a random thought as I was getting ready to press play on the camera. I have this set of stamping inks from Archer and Olive. They are petal ink pads, and I wanted to take some of these colors and just stamp some petal shapes onto here. So we're going to start with the purple one, and we're just going to go stamp, stamp, stamp. Okay, they aren't perfect shapes, and that's okay. I don't want them to be. We're just trying to add some pops of color to the background of this. The page that I've picked out is fairly plain, but the page facing it has some purples and oranges on it, so I definitely want to use some of those colors in our belly band. Maybe some silver. It could be that I end up covering all of this and we don't see any of the colors, but you know what? I'm okay with that. We're just trying things out. For this witch, let's take the corner rounder and punch just around the corners of her picture. Oh, I should have went to my stash of embossing glazes. If I have a cool green color, we could make her green like Alphaba. That would be fun. Okay, let me pop into the craft room and see what I can do about that. I have two colors of green. I have cracked pistachio and paled paint. I think paled paint is going to be the way to go, but I also want to test the colors to be sure. I have another lady from this same printable collection. So I thought what we could do is do some testing on her before we do the final color on the lady for our page. I need my embossing pen. All right, here is my embossing pen. This is the brush nib one. I like the bullet tip one better, but that one seems to have wandered away. So we're gonna do this one color at a time. We'll start with the correct pistachio. All right, there's the cracked pistachio. I actually really, really like how that color came out. I was burning my hand though, so I was like just grabbing whatever I could. Like this is my little tag shape cutter thing. I was like, hold still. That didn't help so much. I need something longer. All right, so there on the left half of her face is the peeled paint. Now, which one says Elphaba more? Honestly, this one, cracked pistachio. I am so surprised, but you know what? This is why we test things. So come back with our pen. This brush nib is a bit worn out, so we're trying to be careful and not go beyond her face. Let's see, are her hands visible? No. So this is the only thing that needs to be green. So if you care to find her, look to the western skies. As someone told her lately, everyone deserves a chance to fly. All right, I've just had another idea and it involves more embossing. What if we made a little green border around this by taking our embossing dabber and just kind of swiping it like we're inking up around a picture? Why is she green? All right, can you see that? I don't know how well the camera's picking it up. I love it. Tell them how I'm defying gravity. Now that the embossing's done, I've got cracked pistachio oxide, and we're gonna go around the edges of our belly band to bring in some of the green color. I'm afraid that now I have Defying Gravity stuck in my head, so if I sing more, my apologies. I like to sing, but I know that sometimes it's not pleasant for everyone to hear. Okay, we've only really used one punch on the corner rounder, so we definitely need to bring in some more punches. And how do we want to do that? Maybe let's start by punching out some circles and then we can color them, perhaps. Okay, here's what I've decided to do. I'm going to do the top part of this with this Distress Mica Stain Decayed, and then the bottom portion with Distress Mica Stain Fallen Acorn. All right, so you can see we have kind of a goldy color here and then a dark brown here with these two mica stains. I feel like I do use mica stains quite a bit in Craftoween, but Like, even Tim Holtz releases mica stains mostly around Halloween and sometimes for Christmas, I think, too. But a lot of what I've seen him do with them is Halloween stuff. And so in my mind, they're just associated with Halloween. Just how it goes, I guess. Okay, we'll let those dry and then work on adding them to our belly band in a little bit. Okay, I've added some black splatters here. It just felt like that's something that I needed to put on the belly band. And then I found this sticker in my Tim Holtz ephemera pack, and I've stuck it right onto this book page. Here it says Salem, Mass. And to anyone that's going to suggest witches, I'm just going to triple check. Yes, okay. It's going to fit. And what are we going to do? Emboss it, of course. We're going to use some more cracked pistachio embossing glaze. And it's okay if we get a little bit outside of the sticker because we can cut around it. There was one stubborn little patch on the sticker that was not wanting to melt. So if this all pulls up, yes it will. We will add some glue onto the back of here. These are stickers, but of course we've already stuck it to a book page and then applied a crap ton of heat to it. So glue it must be. Oh, interesting. So the green is coming out to be a different shade on the sticker than it was on her face. Huh. All right. When we add her to the belly band, do we want her to just be straight on or like this? I think straight up and down. I'm not good putting glue all the way to the edges because they're gonna hang off the side just a little bit. You know, it's interesting. I have some distant relatives who were involved in the Salem witch trials, and I found out that 2 of them were on the right side of history and 2 of them were definitely not, which is a shame. I'm just gonna pretend like we're not related to those ones. Originally, I'd planned on putting this here, but I don't think it goes well with this because it's so like glowy and just stunning. And there's something to pop art about this for me. But if we just simply turn the page, I think that works there quite nicely. I actually really like it there. Sometimes if we see a problem, all we need to do is just look in a new way, either at a different page or in a different, from a different angle or, you know, something. And sometimes solutions are a lot simpler than we think they are. So here is our belly band with magic on it and paper punches. And we'll have to find something to slide in there at some point. I'll probably create something that's not part of a Craftoween prompt because here we've got focal point, focal point. I don't know if I'd want to do another Craftoween thing because I tend to always have focal points on those. So that would maybe be too much. I don't know. We have time to think about it. But there we go. That's it for day 11. This is going to be the end of this installment. So the next one will be days 12, 13, 14, and 15. And that will bring us to our halfway point in the month. So I hope you're enjoying this series. Please don't forget to leave your thoughts in the space down below. Or if you want to leave a comment just to let me know you're here, you can do a Halloween emoji of some kind. And we'll see you in the next one. Have a wonderful, magical, and bookish day. Happy reading, crafting, or journaling. Adios.